The next topic on our agenda is drainage on the golf course, and this is something that potentially a lot of members don't see very much of because it happens after a storm or a heavy rain. Your guys spend a lot of time cleaning it up and making it right for the players, but it is, as we've gone out there and seen by inspection, a fairly large problem across a fair number of holes. Can you talk a little bit about the drainage and cite a couple of examples like number 8 or number 5 of where we need to make some very serious changes with the golf course as far as drainage goes?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, drainage around the whole golf course is a problem. So there's a number of areas throughout the golf course that we'll be looking at. There's 3 specific areas over on number 8 and 1 specific area on number 5 that have become even more of an issue over the last number of years. So we have hired an engineer to come in and look at these various areas on 8 and 5 and kind of give us some recommendations and some options of what we can do to improve the drainage, and more so it's the damage that comes from the rain. We're on hole number 5. So there's a big main wash that runs between holes number 4 and 5, and this is one of the branches that have come off that main wash, and it comes over the, you can see how it's worn out and come over the cart path here. So the last time we've had a couple of the last big storms we've had, this is all eroded down. We had about half of this green was underwater, and so then that creates a lot of labor hours and cleanup for the crew, and trying to get all those fine silts and clays out of that top portion of that green can be very challenging. We're here on number 8 to point out one of 3 areas solely here on number 8 where it's a little more extreme. After almost every single rainstorm, you have 2 large culverts in here that feed water from the whole community, and it comes into the side of this, over this cart path. And so believe it or not, you have the 2 big culverts and you've got a 4-inch drain in the cart path. So obviously this little drain can't consume all of this water. So what happens is this will eventually clog up with the debris that's coming through, and then it comes up over the turf and washes across the whole turf here, which at one time was a natural wash. So what this does is, as all this debris is coming in, and so a lot of these fine silts and fine clays get in there, and over time that'll build up and create layers underneath the turf, and basically what it'll do is it'll seal off the turf, and without proper management will seal off the turf, and eventually it would desiccate the turf here. 8, the second location for drainage. So this wash here comes between the 2 houses over here on my right, and then comes down over here over the cart path into the turf area. Again, there's another 4-inch cart path drain here, obviously that cannot consume the amount of water that's coming through here through the community. So basically, again, this happens, the water comes over the top of the cart path and it floods this whole landing area out here on number 8 fairway. Floods those 2 fairway bunkers over there. By the time we get in the morning, they're still completely full, and so again, a lot of man hours being taken up for cleaning out debris in the turf areas, pumping water out of bunkers, and then redistributing sand throughout the bunker back up onto the faces, as it typically just washes out and contaminates with rocks and whatnot underneath. So at the 3rd and final area on number 8, as you can see, we're dealing with a significantly larger wash that comes down through the community here over the cart path, and you can see over time how this has built up with all the debris coming in. So at one point there was turf over here that connected the fairway to the ladies' tee. about 5 years ago, we took out and removed all that turf and created our own little wash through here to divert this water from going up over the top. And basically, so now we have it draining into this wash and then back around. So with this specific area, again, we have engineers looking at this as well. So basically, this is more of an enhancement to beef it up a little bit, to beef up what we have already.
And talking about this with you, you mentioned other areas that are less obvious but still need a lot of intervention on our part. Can you start to give us some examples of that and make us aware of where these problems exist?
Here we are over on the backside of number 10 Green, excuse me. So some of these areas, this low valley in between the cart path and the green here. So the thought here would be making sure that these drain basin areas are in the correct positions. Some of them are on the golf course. There could be the drain basin over here and then the low area is here. So we don't really capture the water like we should be. So making sure these drain basins are in the correct positions initially, and then we can add in subsurface drainage underneath these, just making branches, making arms, the herringbone style drainage underneath here with the typical French drain look to capture the water and the runoff from the downhill into these low areas here, up the side hill coming down here, and then the back of the green, so all the water comes down into here. Here on 15, that's another perfect example over here of where the drain basin sits. Just visually looking at it, should be about right in here. This looks like the lowest area, where all the water feeds down into this valley on the right side or left side of the fairway on 15 here. So here's another perfect example of the drain basin not being in the correct positions.
So that's about 20 feet away from where it should be.
Probably pretty close to 20 feet right now from where it should be. And as you can see, the water sits right there. It can't even. There's a little uphill right here before so it doesn't even have a chance to get into this area here.
Yeah.
Into the drain. We've given you probably 3 or 4 examples already this morning, and it is a challenge throughout the whole golf course on almost every single hole.
So the solutions will be worked out through the recommendations of the engineers and then the designers such as Tom.
Yeah, correct. So that some of these areas could possibly have an effect on the design of the golf course. So yes, it's something that Tom is looking at currently as well, and trying to see, do we need to make some changes and stuff like that, and what is it that we can do from a design aspect as well.